From my experiences, Kingsport, Tennessee does not seem to be a piano town. I haven't found any pianos in unusual places like I have in other small towns in eastern Tennessee, and this region in general just does not feel like a piano area. Most musicians here seem to play the guitar or the banjo, they're involved in bluegrass or jazz, and there are pianists and pianos here, but they're not as common as I feel like they are in other regions of the United States. It's not that unusual to find a piano in a piano store, which is where I'm at Music Masters in Kingsport, Tennessee, but it's kind of unusual to find a Blüthner, a German piano, in eastern Tennessee, a region where there just aren't very many pianos to begin with. And what makes this piano more unusual than any others that I found lately? It's that Blüthner does something very interesting, subtly different with their pianos that most people probably might not even notice. There's extra strings in here. Pianos already have a ton of strings, and Blüthner said, you know what, that's not enough, let's add more. So there are more strings in this piano than you will find in almost any other piano. Why? Let's find out.
Finding this before making the video would be nice. I didn't know what the heck to call it. It's a Model 10.
To the layperson, a Blüthner might look like a completely ordinary bog-standard piano, and for the most part, it is, with the one exception of this. This is the aliquot string system. It is a fourth additional string that Blüthner has added to many of the notes up in the treble. It does not go for the entire piano. You'll see down here, this is what a normal grand piano would look like on the inside. These are your dampers. They mute the strings and stop them from vibrating when you press a key, and you'll see that there are 3 strings for each key. However, when you get up here, we'll see that there are now 4 of them. There are now 4 strings for each note, and you'll notice that the 4th string on the left here, from our perspective, is at a higher elevation than the other strings. It is not on the same plane as the other strings. It is higher up from the other strings, and it is not actually struck by the hammers. Instead, it merely vibrates in sympathy, it resonates with the rest of the piano, and it adds sustain, it adds brilliance, and it just adds additional resonance to the piano. I will say this piano does, in fact, have a very resonant and brilliant sound. A lot of that is probably due to the aliquot string system, and this piano just sounds fantastic. I love the way that it sounds. It's also just in great condition as a whole. You can see here, this is generally a defining feature of German and European pianos, is that the strings are individually hitched, which means that each string is, well, individually hitched. You have one wire that goes from your tuning pins up there, and it is terminated here. And you have another one and another one. So each of your 3 strings is a separate wire. In American pianos and more affordable pianos, this is a different system, and there's one wire that loops around a hitch pin at the back, and that one wire is 2 different notes, and it's crazy that it even works at all. But this is the way the Germans do it, and many other European piano companies do this, and they feel it is superior, and there are, in fact, many reasons why this is superior. If you break a string, there is only one string that will ever break, right? Let's say you break this string, it's that one. You're not going to break multiple strings on multiple notes because it's one wire looped around a hitch pin and doing crazy things. You can also see that the aliquot string system is the exact same way. These are all the hitch pins for the aliquot system. They're on a different level than the others because the whole string is at a different level, and that goes up here. You can also see these A-graphs sort of in the middle. I don't actually know the technical term for these, but what they do in this case is they terminate the aliquot string to be 1 octave higher than the rest. So this entire region of these strings is not the sounding region, right? This does not vibrate during play. This side does, and it is 1 octave higher than the rest of the strings, which is really cool. Up here they didn't do that because it's kind of impossible when your strings are that short. You can't really half that. But so all the aliquot strings up here are at the same pitch, all of these are an octave higher, and then the rest of the piano does not have the aliquot system. And I wonder why the reason for that is. What if you did build a piano with 4 strings in every note? Is it possible? Maybe someone should do that. There's probably a reason nobody has them. It probably doesn't work. It probably doesn't sound good.
Or it would destroy
Or it
your...
would, yeah, or it would just nuke the piano.
implode. Although I feel like a piano implosion would be an interesting thing to watch.
A piano implosion would be a very interesting thing to watch. Overall, this piano is in very good condition, both cosmetically and mechanically, although it does have some minor issues in both. One of its cosmetic issues is something you don't see every day. These appear, perhaps, to be soundboard cracks. They are not. They are merely in the finish of the soundboard. They are completely cosmetic. They do not affect the sound of the piano at all. They might look a little bit scary to someone who's never seen these before, and you don't see them every day. But this is just the way that the finish on the soundboard has aged. If somebody really wanted to, they could replace this, or not replace it, but they could, refinish the soundboard and make these go away. But that would be a lot of effort for something that's merely cosmetic, and they don't affect the sound of the piano at all. This piano's soundboard is actually in excellent condition from everything I can tell, and the piano's sustain and tone is bright and powerful and excellent. The piano seems to be in excellent condition inside. I like how the different piano manufacturers tend to use different colored felts. Not all of them do. There are many pianos that use the same different colored felts, but blue I always have associated with Blüthner. They're one of the few that uses blue felts. No, they're not the only one, but they're one of the few, and it's just a very nice color. It looks great on the inside of the piano, and you'll find blue accent felt everywhere. You have it here muting the non-speaking parts of the strings. You have a tiny little blue layer on the dampers. You've got more up there by the tuning pins, and the key slip felt along the fallboard is also a nice little blue accent. Very nice touch. The second I saw this piano, my immediate thought was, how did a Bluthner end up in East Tennessee? I have no idea where one would go to buy a Blüthner piano. Maybe Knoxville, you might be able to find some there. I have no idea, so I was immediately confused as to where this piano came from, because I don't know where the nearest Blüthner dealer is, and I've never seen a Blüthner in this region of the United States. Crawling underneath of the piano revealed its secrets. It originally came from Sarasota, Florida, and was shipped to Blountville, Tennessee. That's how it ended up here. It's now in Kingsport, so there was an additional move there along the way. It's probably been a few different places, but it originally seems to have come from Sarasota, Florida. I bet you if you look it up, there's a Blüthner dealer there.
Originally from Sarasota.
You know what I mean. Okay, it was made in Germany, then it came to Sarasota, then it came to Blountville, then it came to Kingsport. That is like the history of this piano as far as I can tell. So that explains how it got from Germany to Kingsport by way of Florida. Very interesting. I love finding little things like that about the piano's history. Another thing I noticed underneath of the instrument is that the braces, the big wooden brace beams under the piano, they are painted, not that unusual, but they're painted like a weird off-white. I've never seen that before. The underside of the rim of the piano is a black paint, and normally they will just paint the whole underside of the piano black or leave it unfinished or just a clear lacquer. They painted it a weird off-white, which I find very strange. It's something no one's ever going to see except me, because I'm the only type of person that would crawl underneath of the piano and look up there. It's just a very interesting design decision, and I wonder what inspired it. So what is it like to play a German-made piano that went to Florida and then came to Tennessee and moved around at least twice? Well, for all of its adventuring, it is in excellent condition. There are some minor cosmetic blemishes that some would care about. Personally, I don't really care. It's cosmetic. It doesn't affect how the piano sounds. It does have a couple of mechanical issues with the action. There is one C sharp that just doesn't work. I think everything is there and will function again. My belief is that the jack is probably stuck in the action and is just not pivoting the way that it needs to. It's probably stuck too far forwards and isn't interfacing with the other parts of the action to make it work. This is something that any piano technician could probably fix very easily. It's an easy fix. It's not that big of a deal. The other nitpick I have with the action is that I find it to be a little bit difficult to control at pianissimo. It really just needs some regulation. It probably hasn't had any since day one, and the fact that it works as incredibly well as it does is a testament to how well engineered the action is. As a whole, the action is phenomenal. It plays incredibly well. It has a wonderful, substantial feel to it. It is crisp and precise, and it just feels great to play. That's why I like this piano so much. Although it is imperfect, I can tell that at its core, it needs, not that it needs, it doesn't need very much work. At its core, it is an excellent, excellent piano. One of my favorite Bluthners that I have ever played, honestly. It's a really, really good piano. The sound of this piano is also excellent. It is what I would consider to be a relatively small piano. It is like about 6 feet, maybe. Probably something to look up and measure. But it is very powerful. It has the sound of a 7-foot piano. It has the sound of a bigger instrument. It is powerful. It is magnificent to play. It is incredibly fun. And we actually have a tape measure now, so we can measure the length of the piano. Not only is the action of this piano excellent, the tone of it is amazing as well. The sound of this piano is truly incredible. To me, this is a relatively small piano. My brain thinks of anything under like 6 to 7 feet as being small, and this is a flawed view. I need to change this. But in my mind, this is a relatively small piano, and it has the sound of a much larger piano. A rough measurement gives us an estimate of about 5.5 feet long. We'll put up on the screen what that is in non-freedom units so that everyone else in the world can know what that means. But this piano has a much bigger sound than a 5.5-foot piano. The bass is excellent, the mid-range is wonderful, the treble is great, of course it's great, it's a Blüthner, it's got extra strings up there, it should be great, and overall the power of this piano is just incredible. It is a wonderful, wonderful sounding instrument. It's a great piano. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video of this Blüthner piano. While it may be imperfect, I think at its core this is an incredibly good piano. Blüthners are widely considered these days to be one of the greatest pianos made. There of course is some dispute. There is no one greatest piano, as I have found out many years ago. But Blüthners are incredible pianos, and this one, although it is not perfect at the moment, it is no exception. The action feels amazing, the piano sound is wonderful, and I really like playing on it. Hopefully this piano will go to a good home and somebody will enjoy it for many years to come, but in the meantime, you know where to find it. The information is in the description. Thank you very much to the folks at Music Masters in Kingsport for letting me come here and make videos about their really cool pianos, and thank you to the viewers like you who make these videos possible. I wouldn't be doing it without you, and I really hope you've enjoyed these videos about finding interesting pianos in sometimes unusual places. I know a piano store is not that unusual, but it is still a cool piano, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, for subscribing, and liking my videos. If you enjoyed them, feel free to check out my other videos. I've got several unusual pianos that I have found so far in Eastern Tennessee, and I plan on finding more of them. So please feel free to subscribe, enjoy the videos if you do, and I will see you in the next video with another unusual piano. Thanks for watching.